Hi guys, this is ShinigamiScale. In today's video we will be covering Ichigo and his opponent's power levels throughout Arrancar and Hueco Mundo saga. Just a small reference for the future videos as well, we will not be covering Ichigo's battles against Zangetsu. So without further ado, let's begin. Ichigo's first opponent in the Arrancar saga was the Espada number 10, Yami Raigo, and the initial showdown between the two clearly demonstrates the difference in strength between Ichigo in his Bankai form and Yami's base form. Ichigo was able to, without any effort whatsoever, cut off Yami's arm and penetrate his Hiyori, which is very durable. Yami previously one-shotted Chad, but this form of Chad is the one after Soul Society arc, and he is still not at the power level where he could compete with Arrancars. So that feat doesn't scale him pretty high. All in all, I do not see Ichigo having trouble in this battle, and even in this situation like it was in the anime where Ichigo's inner hollow is trying to take over, if it was the case, Ichigo's hollow would deal with Yami even easier. So to me this one is particularly easy for Ichigo, and I have no doubt that he will win.
Shinigami. Arrancar sister.
Ichigo vs Grimmjow is one of the coolest rivalries in the entire Bleach series. Grimmjow is the Espada number 6, and in this particular battle he's giving Ichigo run for his money. So in this battle Grimmjow is fighting in his base form without the usage of his sword against Ichigo in his Bankai, and he's beating Ichigo pretty severely until the very end of the battle, where Getsuga Tensho from Ichigo does some true damage and leaves a scar on Grimmjow's body. Now in this first showdown between Ichigo and Grimmjow didn't use neither Zero nor Gran Rei Zero, didn't even draw his sword, so basically he's fighting with a lower battle capacity than he is truly capable of, so I don't see this battle going in any other direction than Ichigo losing this one. Even if Ichigo's inner hollow took over, still Grimmjow would have a resurrection at his disposal, so I am pretty sure that this would be an extremely difficult battle for Ichigo to win. This is not a true battle, but at the same time is not a training either. It is essentially a situation to determine Ichigo's power level and worthiness to join the Bizards. Now Hiyori is testing Ichigo, and Ichigo is trying desperately not to let his inner hollow out, so he's being beaten pretty severely by Hiyori, and with her hollow mask she is definitely more than a challenge for Ichigo in his Shikai form. Not much to explain here, but if they were to fight to death in these forms, I am pretty sure that Hiyori would easily come out on top. The moment Ichigo's hollow takes over, the chances of winning in this battle drastically change. Even though Ichigo is still in his Shikai form, Ichigo's inner hollow is so powerful that Hiyori doesn't stand a chance in this battle. So Ichigo with his Shikai and his inner hollow wins this battle with low difficulty. After finishing his training with Vizards, Ichigo finally gains control of the portion of his hollow powers. He is now able to draw his hollow powers at will. However, this is a very short-term boost in power because Ichigo's mask can last only for a few seconds before disintegrating. Now, even though Ichigo's hollow form is much more powerful than Grimmjow with one hand, at the same time we cannot consider this temporary boost a permanent form for Ichigo, so there are two scenarios for this battle. One is that Ichigo successfully used the maximum of his power and actually kills Grimmjow, or critically injure him to the point that even in his Bankai form he is able to finish him off. Or the second scenario, which is the one that happened in anime, Grimmjow survives and then dominates Ichigo. As this Ichigo's power boost is extremely time limited, I am still giving Grimmjow a much higher chance for win in this battle.
人を見かけで判断するなとな。ににょ。
After Orihime is captured by Ukiora and taken to Hueco Mundo, Ichigo and his friends go to rescue her, and the first real opponent for Ichigo is the Privaron Espada Dordoni. Now, an explanation for those uninitiated: Privaron Espada are Espada that were demoted after Aizen acquired Hokyo. Now, in this battle, Ichigo is trying to defeat Dordoni by using his Shikai alone. But as we noticed during the battle, Ichigo wasn't able to do that much against his opponent. Dordoni kept on blocking all the shots from Zangetsu by using his Hiyori, even being able to grab Ichigo's blade with his bare hands. Also, in a short skirmish in Dordoni's base form, he was capable of getting the better of Ichigo, so in my personal opinion, if they were to fight in these forms, Dordoni would be the one to take this battle, although with very high difficulty. After realizing that Ichigo is refusing to unleash his Bankai powers against him, Dordoni uses his Resurrection Giralda and tries to force Ichigo to use his Tensa Zangetsu. The power difference between these two characters in their current forms is very wide, and Dordoni himself states that he is holding back as much as he can not to kill Ichigo, and even at one point in time it seemed it was over when he fired a Zero. So honestly, I see no way for Ichigo to win this battle with his Shikai alone, so this one goes to Dordoni with very low difficulty. Now, after Ichigo uses his Bankai, things drastically shift into his favor. In this form, Ichigo is easily able to repel attacks from Dordoni's Giralda and even to repel a surprise attack from Dordoni where he targeted Neliel. In the anime, battle between these two forms was very short, but I am pretty convinced that if they were to go all out, Ichigo would win this one without much difficulty. There is not much to say about this particular battle, as once that Ichigo uses his hollow powers, his abilities become far too great and he one-shots Dordoni, and there is no chance that he would lose this battle.
Quattro Espada, Urukiora Shifa. Espada 内での力の序列は4番目だ。
Now, the first encounter between Ichigo and the Espada number 4, Urukiora Shifa, is more of an execution rather than a battle. At the peak of his abilities, Ichigo is able to damage Urukiora, who is fighting without a sword, just blocking his Getsuga Tensho with his bare hands. Since Urukiora isn't fighting seriously and is not even drawing his Zanpakuto, I don't see this battle going any other way regardless of the possible scenarios. Even in the unlikely scenario that Ichigo's hollow mask lasts longer, he will not be able to defeat Urukiora once that he draws out his Zanpakuto. Ichigo's hollow powers aren't still at the level which they're going to be against Grimmjow, which is something that we can clearly see by markings on his mask, so without any doubt Urukiora takes this battle with no difficulty. After being brought to the brink of death by Urukiora, once that Orihime heals Ichigo, he's a more capable fighter. In his Bankai form, he's faring a bit better than he did in the previous battles against Grimmjow. However, once that Grimmjow uses his Gran Rei Zero, he forces Ichigo to use his hollow powers. Now, even though Ichigo is strong in his Bankai form, I still see Grimmjow taking this one as his base form is much more powerful. In his base form, he can use a lot more abilities and constantly seems to be one step in front of Ichigo. So in my mind, Grimmjow takes this battle mid to high difficulty. Now we come to the battle to which entire Hueco Mundo saga was building up to. Full power Ichigo against full power Grimmjow. Ichigo's abilities dramatically increase once that he uses his hollow mask, and this time around, as we can see by the markings on the mask itself, we can see that Ichigo's power level in this form is much more powerful than in the previous one. This is also clearly demonstrated in the fight against Grimmjow and also confirmed in the next fight against base Urukiora. Grimmjow and Ichigo in these forms are very close in power, and that is clearly shown in the anime. Once that Grimmjow uses his Resurrección Pantera, he is much more powerful and he has new techniques at his disposal, such as Gara de la Pantera, which refers to the bombs from his elbows, and Desgaron, which Grimmjow claims to be his strongest attack. As Ichigo's hollow powers now last much longer than in his previous form, I don't see this battle finishing any differently from the result in the anime, and I give Ichigo victory here, although with extreme difficulty. The final showdown for Ichigo in the Hueco Mundo saga was against Noitora Gilga. In the anime, Ichigo stood absolutely zero chance against Noitora, as he was extremely worn out after the brutal fight against Grimmjow. However, in my personal opinion, if he was to battle against Noitora while fully rested in his Bankai form and not using his hollow powers, beating Noitora would be too much for him. Noitora has the strongest hero among all the Espada and is very fast and strong, so I don't see Ichigo coming out on top in this one. That's it for this video. Be sure to check out other videos as well, and if you like and enjoy the content, subscribe to the channel so that you can get notifications for the videos on a weekly basis. Till the next one, bye!